Welcome everybody to TSC. This is episode number 10 here on the NoDQ.com YouTube channel, and I am of course the Pennsylvania sensation, Greg Cherry, on the road today. It's a little bit of a crazy weekend, going to a wedding this weekend, so taking care of this stuff right now. So hopefully I get all your questions correct and get all your handles correct on social media, because I'm not looking at the questions. I took a quick glance at them before the show, but we're going to see how this goes. First question comes, I believe it was on Twitter, from Kyle Mitchell at KMMitchell24, or KMitchell24. If I got that wrong, I apologize, Kyle. KR Mitchell24, that's what it was. And his question was, do NXT call-ups deserve a title shot? And what is my opinion on the fans that think that NXT call-ups deserve an immediate title shot upon being called to the main roster? I don't think that's the case. I don't think that they deserve a title shot just because they're getting called up. They had their time in NXT, they built their character, and then they're coming on the main roster. And to be fair, the main roster should be a clean slate. I mean, yeah, it's a big deal when somebody from NXT shows up, but they should not be immediately thrust into a championship match just because they got called up. I mean, think about what that does to the rest of the guys on the roster. It's like, what? I'm not a big deal? This guy just got here and he's getting an opportunity before me. I don't think that's okay. I think they should earn their way. They should maybe 6 months to a year out, perhaps, have an opportunity or even be in a contendership match, but it shouldn't be something that happens right off the bat. The next question on Twitter comes from my reaction room buddy, Alex M, at the Lexbot on Twitter, and he asked if I think that Smackdown is hindered by their 2-hour show, especially the big card, to not give guys like Luke Harper, Ty Dillinger, or Mojo Rawley a chance. See, I don't agree with that either. I think that Smackdown being a 2-hour format is designed to do exactly that. It's supposed to be an entertaining show for 2 hours, and let's face it, it beats the living crap out of Raw. And the fact that it beats the living crap out of Raw shows why Raw should go back to 2 hours and not be 3, because 3 hours is exhausting every single week. And then you put pay-per-views or special events, whatever, on top of that. I mean, it's just way too crazy. And I don't think that SmackDown is hindering at all. The fact that they're running their angles that they're supposed to do, and if they don't have anything for guys like Dillinger and Harper and Mojo's actually on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. He's on the pre-show with Zack Ryder going against Primo and Epico. So he's going to be doing something on the Money in the Bank show. But should the guys have more of a chance? Yeah, I understand why they're not, because they want to focus on promoting the pay-per-view, but they should get more opportunities, which may conflict something I said that they shouldn't have throwaway segments. So I mean, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna have them on the show, make them be a legitimate part of the show and not just something to fill time. Venegas9469 on Instagram he asked me 2 questions. I can't remember the one. It was about Paul Orndorff, but I don't remember the exact one. So I'm gonna answer his second question, which is something I really want to address. And that's whether or not WrestleMania will ever be at Heinz Field, which is the football stadium in Pittsburgh, for those of you who don't watch football, Aaron. Heinz Field would be a great spot to have WrestleMania. I think it'd be better off to host something like SummerSlam, because the weather would probably be similar to Florida in April. But I think having Heinz Field for WrestleMania, I'd love to have it in Pittsburgh. I mean, I wouldn't have to travel very far. It'd only be like an hour and a half to get to WrestleMania, as opposed to the 22 hours it took my wife, my best friend, and myself to drive down from Oil City, Pennsylvania to Miami, Florida. That notwithstanding, the only issue I have is something that I can see similar with WrestleMania 29, how it was in New York, New Jersey area, being in the New York Jets Stadium. I mean, it might be too cold, and especially with Western Pennsylvania weather. I'm not sure how it is in the rest of the Northeast. The Western Pennsylvania weather is pretty stupid. It could be 75 degrees one night, and then the next day you're shoveling out 4 inches of snow. I mean, it's so bipolar. It's almost quadpolar how ridiculous it is. But Pittsburgh having WrestleMania would be fantastic. I would not complain at all. The only issue that I could see with Pennsylvania ever getting WrestleMania, or the Super Bowl for that matter, would be the weather. And the last question comes to us. This one actually is from YouTube. Slow motion for you. Slow motion for you. Slow motion for you. He asked me a few shows back, actually, to check out the WrestleMania 23 WrestleMania Rewind on the WWE Network. I finally got a chance to do that yesterday. And he asked me if WWE overreacted to Triple H's injury. I don't necessarily think they overreacted to it. I mean, they wanted to have Triple H and Cena back-to-back years as the WrestleMania main event, which that may have been good. But Triple H's injury, obviously, he couldn't compete at the event. So, do I think they overreacted in that instance? No. And we got a classic match with Shawn Michaels and John Cena. Not as good as their match on Raw, their hour-long match on Raw, which sadly was a non-title match. But Cena and Michaels was a good match to finish WrestleMania. I honestly, though, want to say that Batista and The Undertaker from WrestleMania 23 was better. Personal opinion. But that's the way I see it. And Triple H, the fact that he was injured, I don't think... he was a big star in the company. He still is. Even though he's not competing on a full-time basis anymore. He's still a big deal. And, I mean, if that's your big money match and something happens... imagine... Again, I'm going to use a football reference. Imagine the Pittsburgh Steelers go into the AFC Championship or something before the Super Bowl, and Ben Roethlisberger goes down with an injury and he can't play the rest of the game. Unless he has a broken back or a broken leg, he probably would play. But Roethlisberger, if he was out, it would greatly hinder the Steelers' opportunity of getting to the Super Bowl. And the difference is, with wrestling, you kind of have to roll with the punches. And that's exactly what Vince McMahon said on the special. You have to roll with the punches. And they picked a more than suitable replacement for Triple H. They picked Shawn Michaels to face Cena. So I think, I don't want to say they won out, because Triple H Cena 2 at WrestleMania may have been very good. In fact, Triple H might have got his win back because of how they booked things. But I think they did very well with how they booked John Cena and Shawn Michaels. And like I said, they had to do what they had to do with everything going down with Triple H. I don't think it was an overreaction at all. Alright guys, that's it for me. I shall hopefully be on the Money in the Bank recap show after the pay-per-view on Sunday. That aside, it's been a crazy week. I would love to get on more panel shows. Trust me, I'd love to give you guys more stuff to work with, but between everything going on in my life, I just don't have time. But that's why I'm doing this while I'm driving, trying to take care of two things at once. So that is it for episode number 10. I can't take my hands off the wheel for too long. I'm driving. But I will see you guys next week for episode number 11. I will see you guys this Sunday night for the Money in the Bank recap show. And until next time, keep it sensational. Keep it here on No DQ. I can't stop the camera because I'm still driving. Reach for it!